Hello and welcome to yet another episode of our in-depth series. My name is Pooja Dwivedi and today we are going to discuss the word mummy. I'm not talking about our mothers. I'm talking about a process through which there was a preservation. There is a practice of preserving dead bodies, and this process is called mummification, and it is widely used by many cultures in the world. It was widely used by many cultures in the world, but Egyptians are known to be using it since a really long period of time. And of course, as we are discovering new mummies, it is important for us to understand the process. Plus, what is the issue with the word mummy? We are going to discuss that as well, because many museums in England now will no longer use the word mummy because it has certain undermining of the colonial masters, for the colonial masters. So let us discuss that only. Backdrop: what is the origin of the word mummy? Why did the Egyptians mummify? The history of it and some of the most famous Egyptian mummies. Plus, are there any other cultures which used mummification and preserved mummies? Museums across Europe, they are questioning the use of the word mummy to describe the human remains because it undermined humanity, as we call our mother's mummy, and it has colonial implications as well. Now they will use the term mummified persons instead of mummy, or the individual's name to assert that they were once living. So they can either use the name of the individual or use the term mummified person if the name has not been discovered. What is the origin of the word? See, whenever the body of a person or animal that has not decayed because of certain specific conditions or natural treatment, such as in Egypt, the climate is pretty dry, not much rain is recorded. So the remains used to stay put. They couldn't decay because of the lack of moisture. So this remain is known as mummy. And this word comes from Latin mummia, and this Latin word has come from Persian word mum. Mum means wax, and it refers to an embalmed corpse which was wax-like. So if through any usage of chemical embalming process, if we are preserving one body, it is known as mummification. Okay, so mummification, we can say it is a process of preserving the body after death, either by drying or embalming the flesh of it. Also, it involves removal of moisture. As we know, if moisture is removed, then the natural climate becomes such that the decay of the corpse or decay of any part of the body is slowed down. Okay, and it is, of course, this process or the mummification is found in those areas. Mummification, as in that the preservation of the dead body is much found in the extreme conditions, such as even in the code we can see that certain bodies remain put, they do not decay. For the arid and semi-arid regions which do not have much moisture, similar procedure can be seen there. So when there is a removal of moisture through any chemicals or natural preservative such as tar and resin, when these two things, natural preservatives such as tar and resin, they are used to desiccate the flesh and organs, then it is known as mummification. So that vital organs used to taken out of the body, and the body was used to stay, it was preserved in a manner. So we have to understand the process as well. It is a little macabre, but we have to see. Why did they mummify in the first place? We have to understand that because Egyptians, the culture of Egypt, believed that once one dies, there is life after death as well. So they believed that it was possible to live after death, and the body was an important part, and such as a place. The body was seen as a place for the soul. So if they thought that if the body is destroyed, the spirit might get lost, and the idea of spirit encouraged them to preserve the bodies. So there are certain terms we have to understand. The ka means the spiritual double of the person, like I am, and my spiritual being is another person. So this is the ka, the spiritual double of the person that would require offering. So me as a body might not want certain offerings, but my spiritual being might. Ba means the personality that was free to fly out of the tomb, and the spirit that would travel and seek an afterlife. So that is why the corpse or the 𝐻𝐒 was preserved as an artifact, that the soul might come back into the body if they get lost. If it is not done so, then they will get lost. So the history of mummification goes like, it is believed that the earliest mummification in prehistoric time was an accidental process. The corpse was often placed in Egypt, if we are talking about the climate, was free of moisture. The corpse was often placed in a sleeping fetal position in a pit along with personal items such as clay pot and jewelry. In Harappan civilization, we also find similar beliefs. Intentional mummification actually began in the year around the year 2600 BCE. See, when they saw that our corpses are not decaying, so they thought that, isn't it not, great enough that we can mummify great people, because embalming process was a very costly and arduous process. So only the rich and wealthy could afford it. During the 4th and 5th dynasties, we could see the process evolving much prevalent, and it continued till the Greco-Roman period. Only the rich could afford it, and it was perfected in the 3rd intermediate period. Greek historian Herodotus has documented the process as well. I'm sorry for the graphic details, but this is the process of it. See, the brain, whenever a person dies and he or she has to be mummified, the brain is taken out through the nose with the help of an iron hook. Whatever could not be taken out, so it was important to take out these vital organs, and whatever could not be taken out through the hook, it used to get dissolved in the dissolved with the help of the drugs. Okay. Next, the flank is slit open and the entire content of the abdomen is removed, the lower body, and that is below the stomach. The cavity is then thoroughly cleansed and washed out so that decay is not there. Then it is filled with pure crushed myrrh, cassia, and all other aromatic substances except frankincense. Then the incision was sewn up. Then the body is placed in a natron. It is covered entirely for 70 days, never longer. So for 70 days it was covered. Then when this period ends, the body is washed and then wrapped from head to feet in linen. The linen is actually, it used to have gum inside it, beneath it, and then it used to be pasted. So gum was better used, or gum was much more used in the Egyptian culture rather than glue. Okay. Now recently, this is a news of 28-29 January, and Egyptians, the Egypt Archaeological Survey could have found the oldest and the most complete mummy which was ever discovered in Egypt. Remains of a man, it is by the name of 𝐏𝐻𝐒, and this is a 43-year-old mummy. It is in an ancient tomb near Cairo from the country's 5th and 6th dynasty. This dynasty spanned from the years 2500 BCE and 2100 BCE. Okay, so some of the most famous Egyptian mummies, let us look at them. See, only persons were not mummified. 10 mummified crocodiles were also recently discovered in an ancient Egyptian tomb. The most famous mummy is of King Tut. This tomb was discovered by British archaeologist Howard Carter in the year 1922 in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, and the king's head was dressed with a golden mask, jewelry and amulets. Furniture and other objects were also found in the nearby rooms, so they believed in afterlife. Then another mummy is mummy of 𝐻𝐒, and this is Egypt's greatest woman pharaoh, identified in the year 2007. Mummy of Ramesses II, the most famous pharaoh in New Kingdom it was found in 1881. Okay, and let's talk about other cultures where mummification was done. Egyptians were there, but Chinese, ancient people of the Canary Island, Guanches, and many other pre-Columbian societies of South America also did it, including the Incas. Okay, so I hope you understood what is the entire issue about what is mummification and the rest. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Stay updated.